I have been in Canada for like almost 3 years now, and ignore the sweat, I've been exercising. But in this video, we're gonna talk about 5 things I've learned in the almost 3 years I've been here. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and drop a like. First thing, number one, obviously what to expect is the standard of life to be very different. Yes, I must confess, it is very different in terms of the food, the way of life, the culture, how people treat each other here. I will talk about the vibe, the overall vibe. I know, number one, the culture, the way of life. In Africa, for example, what the hell? In Africa, well, especially where I come from, there's a spirit of Ubuntu whereby if you're walking past somebody, 8 times out of 10, you'll say hi and walk past. Here in Canada, ain't no way. You're not just gonna walk up to a stranger and say hi. Most of the times they'll think that it's either you're weird or you're about to ask for money, or my guy, just stay away from me, creep. Because I remember this other time I went to a different city. I was going to Toronto, and I stopped by this station trying to look for the bus to like head downtown Toronto. And then I asked this other guy a question and he ran away. He thought I was about to ask him for money. So these are the kind of things to expect when you come here. People are antisocial, let's be fair, because everybody's way of life is like to stay in your own circle and everything like that. So whenever you come here with the African mentality, you're so happy to like talk to people. Don't be surprised if people who feel like you're weird, and just like, because some people do love their space and like to like, keep their privacy, one would say. Number two, price standard of living is pretty high here. A lot of people will be surprised that, okay, for example, that minimum wage here is $16 an hour, and you'd find yourself earning 1,000, let's just say every 2 weeks. In Africa, you'll feel like that's a lot, but what they don't tell you is the rent, the food, prices here are ridiculous. So you have to expect that standard of living is very high. For example, if you're trying to get lunch at the mall and you work at the mall, a proper meal could cost you, let's just say, $15. $15. How much is that in rands? That's like over 100 and something rands. So that's what to expect when you're here. Rent, food is high, everything is just pretty pricey. So when you look at the currency, you'd be like, oh, this guy's earning so much money as opposed to a typical African. That is true, but the standard of living is pretty high. For example, average rent, let's just say 1,300. So if you're getting paid 1,000 every 2 weeks, that's like 2,000. The rent is 1,300. You still have to pay water. Insurances for cars is usually like, let's just say $300. So the standard of living is pretty expensive. The quality of life is higher though, I am not gonna lie. It's easier for you to afford things you'd never be able to imagine to afford in Africa. It's easy to get stuff, most of the stuff here you pay per month, so it's easy for you to get those things, as opposed in Africa whereby most of the things you most likely have to pay cash for. Here they're credit cards, so credit cards enable you to get things you cannot afford, but you can pay for them with time. Let's just say that. Number three, there's no way y'all thought I was not gonna talk about love in this channel. Yeah, finding love in Canada is not just like the way you find love in Africa. In Africa, if you're most likely looking for a person, you have to go approach her and romance, you know what I'm saying? Court, they call it courting here. See a beautiful girl, hit her with a punchline or two, talk to her, charm her, smile, no pride, anything can happen. If you miss, you laugh it off, you're on to the next African woman. That's how you get love in Africa, pretty easy. Here, definitely not. People here are very antisocial, so the most ways people find love here is through friends or dating apps. A lot of people use dating apps to find love. As a result, a lot of guys are not confident. Most of the ways people here try to do is to find love is through dating apps, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, all of that. So the typical guy is a little nervous when a real woman will walk up to her and just to like talk to her. That's why, as a result, a lot of women will be shocked if you just say hi to them. We once did videos in Toronto of trying to find love, and it was a very unique experience, because a lot of women were shocked that we actually walked up to them, which is something a lot of guys don't do. So when you do that, it's just like, you stand out from the rest, because most guys are very, very, very have a low self-esteem. People here are antisocial, so it's understandable. So most of them, don't worry, I keep checking, you know. I'm still an African, so anybody can try and steal your stuff. So I'm always checking the coast just in case someone is trying to take something, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, most guys spend their time at home playing games, you know, watching at the hub, you know, and all of that stuff. As a result, that guy, it's gonna be very difficult for him when he sees a beautiful woman he actually likes to approach that woman, you know. But yeah, love, I made a whole video on that. If you want me to make a new updated video of how to find love in Canada versus Africa, I'll do that for you. But it's a little more different, very, very different, that I must say. Number 4, one thing I have learned is, okay, jobs. A lot of people will say finding jobs in Canada is very easy. Leave Africa, 9 times out of 10, within a few weeks you'll find a job. People are looking for people to work, and it's gonna be very easy. Let me check the coast. Let me tell you a secret. It's not easy to find a job anywhere, bro. A lot of people here who I know have gone to varsity, done computer, whatever, accounting, and still it's not easy to find a job. So many people will be like, yo, it's very easy to find a job in Canada. They're just hiring. No, it's not true. It's not true. If there's something you know, I would recommend you become an expert at it, because it's not easy to find a job. Fortunately for me, I love talking to people. I work in retail, so that's what I know. So it was it wasn't easy to find my first job, but once I got that, I built on it, worked harder, and then now I work at one of the most popular brands in the world, and I've been successful. But it's not easy to find a job, but there are ways to make money, and school is not always the most likely solution, you know. And the truth is, there are many talented people here from all around the world: India, South Africa, Nigeria, any country you could think of. Most of them come to Canada, so there are not enough jobs for every single body. Especially, like, I know a lot of people do go to school here, but the same people, you'll find them working in restaurants. There are some doctors from Africa who you'd find working as the maintenance guys, you know, in shops, wherever, because it's not easy. The population here is too high. Housing is not that great, not enough houses for everybody, so standard of life is higher, and you gotta do what you gotta do. It's not easy to get something just like that. Not really, bro. And there's something called taxes. Many mistake African makes, and it's come to Canada. Or many people, I don't know where you're from, you come to Canada and you work 3 jobs. You work as hard as you can, and you feel like all that money is gonna be yours. No. Here there's something called taxes. Well, still number 4, there's something called taxes, whereby at the end of every year, the government will check how much money you made, and based on different factors, it's either they'll give you money or you owe them a lot of money. Most of the time, if you work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, all of that, most likely you're gonna owe them a lot of money. So many people make the mistake of working super hard and then sending a lot of their money back home, and yeah, you might end up owing the government a lot of money because you've been making a lot of money, Charlie. And the last one is just number 5. It's not really a point, but it's just like a summary of everything. Yeah, I personally feel like coming to a country like this as a young person is good, because if you're ready to work, you could find something and keep pushing hard. But I would say it's not a place where you should see yourself staying until you pass. I feel like this should be a place where you get the opportunity to work hard, responsibly, pay your taxes and everything. And then at the end of the day, hopefully you're preparing yourself to dip, one would say, so you can live comfortably. Because to be honest with you, the food, a lot of things, standard of living is so expensive, and a lot of that. If you're to live in a different country like Tanzania, South Africa, wherever, I feel like you'd enjoy life more, because not a lot of people here enjoy life, you know. As long as you have family and friends who you'll enjoy life with, that's fine. But if you don't have that, I don't know, bro. But yeah, I feel like as long as you have people who love you and all of that. If you don't have that, it's gonna be tricky, very, very tricky.